Hi everyone and welcome to the course. I want to welcome you to International Banking and Finance, and I want to give you a little bit of what I'm looking for each week, and maybe it will help to define what the expectations are and what you should focus on. So here's the announcement section and the overview section right here of the course. Here's the syllabus, which will be very important for you. Here's a lot of resources from the GGU library. But let me click on the syllabus here and let's review some of the components of the syllabus. Now, here's the book that you will need for the course, International Financial Management. You can buy an earlier edition if you want. That's fine. It'll still work in the course as long as you match the titles. Now, let's go down here to how you're being graded. In the course, you're going to have 7 discussion forums and an introduction forum. So you're going to have 8 discussion forums worth 50 points. That'll be 40% of your grade. You're also going to have 6 quizzes. They're going to be worth 50% of your grade. 50 points or 30% of your grade. And the final exam, which is worth 30% of your grade. Here's how we look at this structure. So for Module 1, we're going to be doing, it's over a 2-week span. So the introduction discussion board is what we're going to be doing in week 1. In week 2, you're going to have discussion board number 1 here. But we're going to be covering chapters 1 and 2 in each of them. So make sure to focus on chapters 1 and 2 in your analysis. So for the first week is introduction. For the second week is discussion board number 1. Make sure to note that each week ends by Saturday night as well. So that's very important. And no late works accepted in the course. And I think that'll help you to be able to do well, because a lot of people might struggle with that with regard to the late policy. But always make sure to submit your work by 11 p.m. on the day listed in the syllabus. Now for this week, we're going to be looking at a couple things. I want to go through a couple topics that I think are interesting. We're going to be looking at the role of foreign exchange risk. And you'll notice that there's a lot of risk when you look at foreign exchange markets. Foreign exchange markets can make a lot of firms very uneasy about spending money. And when they're uneasy, it's going to create a lot of different challenges. So foreign exchange is always going to be involved in the role of risk. You'll notice that McDonald's, they have many businesses in many different countries. Foreign exchange markets will challenge their risk when there's changes in the exchange rate. So when you look at political risk, you're looking at sovereign governments, and they have the right to regulate when they look at movement of goods, capital, and people across borders. But when we look at international finance, we're looking at market imperfections. We're looking at these transaction costs to get goods and services, shipping costs, tax advantages. You'll notice a lot of opportunities. And with these opportunities, it's going to create a lot of challenges for firms to really come out and decide what is best for them. Where should we put our goods and services? So let's look at an example of Nestle. They used to issue 2 different types of classes of stock. One was registered as foreigners, and one was registered as basically a domestic one. It created a lot of challenges, but it also created restrictions in the market. That's what we don't want to occur. You'll notice that a lot of firms will challenge this exchange rate. And what they'll do is they'll go to countries that they think they can take advantage of the market. And that's very important. Now, when we look at Chapter 2, we're going to be focusing on evolution of the IMF, or the International Monetary System, and the different regimes that existed and why it existed in our economy. You'll notice that we had a lot of standards. We had the gold standard. We had silver standard. We had bimetallism. But you see all these double standards. And the reason why these double standards exist is because of our economy. And our economy was really focused on creating stability with money. And back then, when people were trying to transact, it was very hard for them to transact given the implications or the challenges they're facing with money. So you'll notice that money creates a stable market in our economy. And that's why you'll see stability within markets. Now, a couple other things I want to review for you. If you notice, we'll do 2 modules in 1 week, Module 1 and Module 2, and it'll consist of Week 1 or Module 1, which they'll both be open. The first module is going to be Introduction, and the second one is going to be Discussion Board number 1. So let's click right here on Discussion Board number 1 to go over the requirements to help you do well. Now let me go over the requirements, and these will be very important for you to do well. And if you focus on these requirements, you'll have no problem in the course. So now, what do we need to do? Your initial post is going to be to this discussion question. It has to be 3 to 4 paragraphs. It must include an APA formatted in-text citation and reference to support your work. So you must have that in your analysis. And a website I recommend going to, noodletools.com. Let's hope it comes up here eventually, right? Scroll all the way to the bottom, Noodle Tools Express right here. Click on that. Click on APA. And then you can create your in-text citation and reference, and you can copy and paste it and put it right in your resource. Or I'm sorry, right in your work. But make sure to do that though. So now what you're focusing on this question is, if you're a manager of a firm, what are some of the risks that are associated with foreign exchange markets? Explain how you would position your firm to ensure that you are not exposed to a lot of risk that foreign exchange markets can bring about. So think of yourself in these markets, and how are you going to position yourself to ensure that your firm can continue to do well, given these risks that are involved in foreign exchange markets. But these are some of the things that we're going to be looking at for both week 1 and 2. But I look forward to your effort this week, and I wish you the best.